Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Kalimera. Upon receiving the invitation for the forum, some I'm sure would have wondered why agriculture, why agribusiness today. Agriculture being the oldest regulated profession in the world, which humanity knew and evolved with them. However, some realities and hard figures bring this subject to the forefront of priorities today, including and foremost for Europe. Worldwide, more than 4 billion people are employed to earn their livelihoods in agri-food, production, processing, distribution, consumption, and disposal of agri-food. In the EU, the agri-food sector is one of the largest economic sectors, comprising around 44 million jobs, of which at least 40% are women. Food processing, food retailing, and catering, all of which depend on agriculture, in which around 12 million farmers are currently employed. About half of the EU territory is dedicated to farming, with rural areas making up half of Europe and constituting 20% of the EU's population. In Central Asian countries, agriculture makes significant contribution to the economies, where it plays a big role in GDP and employment, ranging from 10 to 38% of GDP in some countries, and 18 to 65% of all employment. At the global level, the sector is foreseen to create $12 trillion in business opportunities, and some estimate 2 to 3 times even more, with 380 million jobs by 2030. After decades of scarce investment in agriculture and following the food crisis at the turn of the second millennium, new investments are being directed to create long-term value in social, environmental, and economic aspects of the agribusiness and the agri-food systems. EU investment of €1 trillion in the Green Deal and almost 800 billion for the recovery plans, $30.7 trillion in the global sustainable investment, with $60 billion in the BlackRock platform dedicated to sustainable investment, just to cite a few examples. Ladies and gentlemen, much has changed since the end of the Second World War, when the Food and Agriculture Organization was created in the same month, in October 1946, with the objective of eliminating hunger and improving nutrition and standards of living by increasing agricultural productivity. Yet hunger and malnutrition continue to exist, rather to grow steadily with our world growing population. However, the way forward is to look at how the food is produced, distributed, and consumed worldwide. All this has changed dramatically. This vastly different world calls for new ways of thinking about hunger and food insecurity. In 2015, more than 150 world leaders adopted the United Nations Agenda for Sustainable Development, which describes the 17 goals that must be achieved by 2030 to end poverty, encourage peace and prosperity for all, and protect the planet, leaving no one behind. While the eradication of hunger, a word which is used in most languages as a proxy for poverty, is the second goal and relates directly to 4 out of the 17 goals. Upon deeper inspection, all the goals are either directly or indirectly related to global food systems or tied to them in an indirect way. Since 2015, the world has not been generally progressing either towards ensuring access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food for all people all year, or to eradicating all forms of malnutrition. Conflict, climate variability and extremes, and economic slowdowns and downturns are the major drivers towards the slowing down, particularly where inequality is high. The COVID-19 pandemic made the pathways towards SDG 2 even steeper. 6 years on, in a unique year 2021, momentum seems to be revived with the political commitments of all leaders in the United Nations Food Systems Summit in New York, which was held last month, and the pre-summit in Rome, in the United Nations General Assembly deliberations, as well as the early indications from the upcoming G20 and COP26. The challenges we are facing today are unprecedented, and we are now at a tipping point. Hunger is on the rise. It's up by 10 million people in 1 year, and nearly 60 million in the last 5 years. Globally, about 2 billion people are considered moderately or severely food insecure. More than 3 billion people in the world cannot afford a healthy diet. Despite of all that, 1/3 of the food produced continues to be lost or wasted, and natural resources are dramatically overexploited and depleted, with 1 million species risking their extinction. Closer to home, in Europe and in Central Asia, which is an economic and agriculture powerhouse, it is also facing many enduring and new challenges. While the region is making progress overall to reduce malnutrition, it is not on track regarding childhood overweight, adult obesity, micronutrient insufficiency, according to the 2020 regional overview of the food security and nutrition in Europe and Central Asia issued by FAO. None of the countries in the region are on track to achieve the 2025 or the 2030 targets in adult obesity and childhood overweight, and reducing anemia rates among women aged 15 to 49. Extreme weather events, as we are seeing today, are putting a strain on the food production and security. While the ecological footprint of agriculture continues to grow, 1.3 million people are victims of extreme weather events. Today, we see the catastrophic consequences of climate change, which lead to unprecedented floods in Western Europe, drought in Kazakhstan, forest fires in Turkey and Greece, glaciers disappearing in Kyrgyzstan, unsustainable farm practices put under pressure the efficient use of land and water resources, particularly in Central Asia, due to water scarcity, salinization, and pesticide contamination. Ladies and gentlemen, the global food system exerts a considerable impact on the environment. It drives deforestation, biodiversity loss, contributes to greenhouse gas emissions, and accounts for 70% of water withdrawals. As such, new food systems need to be put at its forefront, the interest of humanity and the planet, without further compromises to the latter. More sustainable food systems are key in improving food and nutrition security and reducing pollution from agri-food production and consumption. FAO's twin-track approach for fighting hunger combines sustainable agriculture and rural development, with targeted programs for enhancing direct access to food for the most needy. Using the agri-food systems approach, FAO focuses on profiling agriculture beyond production and macroeconomic purposes to ensure food security and resilient livelihoods, promoting innovations and better catalyzing investment and partnerships. This people-centered approach to eradicate hunger aims to leave no one behind and eradicate all levels of food insecurity and all forms of malnutrition. To achieve this, we also need to better understand the situation of different population groups, to address the key underlying issues such as poverty, economic and social inequalities, conflicts, migration within a country or across borders, as well as other factors. As we approach the World Food Day, which was actually by the name initially World Hunger Day when it was first constituted. In the 16th of October 2021, the main theme is sustainable food systems for healthy diets, aligned with the four betters: better production, better nutrition, better environment, all for a better life. And with special attention on what are the actions that everyone can take, each and everyone can take, including consumer choice, the food you choose, and the way you consume it. All affects our health and that of our planet. Everyone is a consumer, and it is time to shift old patterns so as to transform agri-food systems for the better. We can influence the market by opting for nutritious and environmentally and socially responsible food products. This will pressure governments to design more sustainable policies, promote improved agriculture practices, and motivate greater investments in sustainable, healthy diets. Consumer choices make a difference. They drive actions and trends in agri-food business sector. Nowadays, it's fundamental to stimulate a broad and global dialogue involving all actors along the food value chain, from farm to fork, to help lead in the transformation of food systems by implementing actions in companies, value chains, and key sectors. It is clear that countries in the region are progressing and taking action to transform agri-food systems. And international conferences and fora give an important platform to update each other on progress, success, and priorities to continue this urgent work. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to highlight some of the responses to the regional challenges and the regional diversity. In order to accelerate investments in agri-food, FAO had launched the Hand in Hand initiative, which aims to match-make donor and recipient countries in order to accelerate innovation, institutional change, agriculture transformation, and sustainable rural development based on data, science, and information. Since the pandemic hit our planet, FAO developed its comprehensive, holistic COVID-19 response and recovery program. It is designed to mitigate the immediate socioeconomic impacts while strengthening the long-term resilience of food systems and livelihoods, in line with the UN approach to build, to transform, in close collaboration with various partners. Green Climate Fund, large projects for Kyrgyzstan, Armenia, land consolidation projects in Eastern Balkans, and food loss and food waste initiative projects along the whole value chain in the entire Europe and Central Asia region are but some of tangible actions on the ground. Moreover, FAO's recently adopted strategic framework 2022-2031 pays special attention to interconnectivity between economic sectors and the trade-offs that increasing productivity and production to achieve healthy diets for all will generate over soil and water usage, energy consumption, biodiversity protection, and greenhouse gas emissions, so that policies can be put in place to minimize these trade-offs. Likewise, FAO's work alongside the World Health Organization, WHO, on food safety, animal diseases, and antimicrobial resistance is a testament to our commitment to partnership in researching, responding, and understanding these issues from a holistic One Health approach, whereby human and animal health are understood as a nexus and from which humanity's relationship with nature is recognized. This approach also recognizes humankind's nexus with fragile yet essential ecosystems and is based on sustainability, restoration, and protection. This is at the core of the new strategic framework of FAO and our 4 betters. We have enough evidence that working together, government, private sector, NGOs, towards sustainable food systems within planetary boundaries could have tremendous positive impacts. The title of this conference is The Future of Agribusiness, and we've seen today that many industry leaders have already taken important steps towards alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals. But at the same time, much more work is needed. Digitalization is the foundation on which we can build social and economic resilience. Europe and Central Asia, throughout the years, made significant progress, becoming world leaders in broadband connectivity. However, a lot remains to be done to bridge connectivity, affordability, digital skills, especially between urban and rural areas. In order to build back better, now is the time for a great reset. In order to achieve that, we need to reset the agendas of the food industry and of the finance sector to help the agri-food sector become a game changer, ensuring positive impact on ecosystems and society as a whole. Together, we can truly transform food systems while prioritizing the health of our planet. Thank you.